بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا وسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى، خصوصا على سيد الرسل وخاتم الانبياء وعلى اله الازكياء واصحابه الاتقياء، اما بعد. فاعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون انما يتذكر اولو الالباب. صدق الله العظيم. In one narration, the Prophet ﷺ, he said to the companions, خير القرون قرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. The best of generations is mine, and then the generation that will follow, and then the generation that will follow. And then after the Prophet ﷺ explains in another narration, then lies will spread. Then people will begin to do things that were not found in the earlier generations. And we notice in many narrations that as the Prophet ﷺ describes the arrival of the final hour, the common theme in many of the signs of the Day of Judgment is that sins will become common. So for example, in one narration, the Prophet ﷺ said that as the Day of Judgment gets closer and closer, you will find zina, fornication will become very common. It will be easily available, it will be something that will be public. People won't look down upon it anymore because it's consensual. As opposed to it being an immoral act, not only religiously, but societally as well. Then after that, in one narration, the Prophet ﷺ told the companions that one of the signs of the Day of Judgment is that children will become disobedient to their parents. Parents who gave their life bringing up their children, who gave their love to their children, who gave their life, literally gave their wealth, gave everything, their own youth to their children. A time will come where these same children will grow up and they will treat their parents like slaves. They will become masters to their parents. So similarly, there are many narrations like this. In one narration, the Prophet ﷺ, he told a companion that riba, interest and usury will become common. And it will be so common that the smoke of it, the bukhara, right? The smoke of that usury will affect every person. No matter how far you try to run from it, it will happen. It will affect you in some way or the other. So when we look at all of these prophecies of the Prophet ﷺ, we find them all to be very true. Every one of them came true, just as promised by the Prophet ﷺ. In one narration, the Prophet ﷺ, he said to the companions, يَأْتِي عَلَى النَّاسِ زَمَانٌ. A time will come to the people, لَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْإِسْلَامِ إِلَّا اسْمُهُ. The only thing that will remain from this religion will be its name. وَلَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ إِلَّا الرَّسْمُ. And the only thing that will remain from the Quran will be its text. What does that mean? That the actual depth of our religion, the Muslims who practice their religion will be gone. The only thing that will remain of this religion will be its name. People will say, I'm a Muslim, and beyond that, there will be nothing behind that. There will be no depth to that. There will be no meaning behind that. I'm a Muslim, and that's it. So you're a Muslim, so what does that mean? You know, how does that change life? If I want to become Muslim, what's the benefit of me becoming a Muslim other than believing in one Allah and Muhammad Rasulullah? Because I don't see any difference between you and I right here. Islam will be nothing more than a title, a name. Like there are teams. People have different teams in basketball, different teams in football. So there will be different teams in religion, and I follow Team Islam. And then the Prophet ﷺ further explains that by saying, وَلَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ إِلَّا الرَّسْمُ. And the only thing that will remain from the Quran will be its text. And we know the Quran is more than its written text. There's more in the Quran than its rasm, than what's written inside there. In the Quran we have shifa. In the Quran we have hidayah. In the Quran there are points of reflection. There is legislation. There is a guide for people to become better people. There's so much more to our text than that. But the thing is that we all know it's in there, but because of our lack of interest, in going and studying that and accomplishing what the Quran has to offer, what ends up happening is that people will move away from its meaning and just be content with what the wordings of the Quran are. So people will read the Quran, but as far as what the Quran is saying, it won't have any impact on them. And the Prophet ﷺ tells us that as a result of this disinterest that people will have with knowledge and being educated in Islam, the result of that will be what? مَسَاجِدُهُمْ عَابِرَةٌ وَهِيَ فَرَاغٌ مِنَ الْهُدَى. but there won't be anyone to stand and then to pray. And then the Prophet ﷺ says, because there won't be sincere people going to seek knowledge with the right intention, insincere people will come. And then they will seek the knowledge. And then they will, once they have that knowledge, because they don't have the right intention behind it, they won't use the knowledge for the right purposes. So the Prophet ﷺ said, عُلَمَاؤُهُمْ شَرٌ مِنْ تَحْتَ أَدِيمِ السَّمَاءِ. The scholars of the time will be the scum of the earth. The scholars of the time will be the scum of the earth. مِنْ عِنْدِهِمْ تَخْرُجُ الْفِتْنَةِ وَفِيهِمْ تَعُودُ. They will start confusion and fitna amongst people. And that very same fitna will return back to them. It'll be a perpetuous cycle. That they will feed ill into society, and that ill will come right back to them. So when we study this hadith, when we look at this hadith, the common theme we find is that the Prophet ﷺ is telling us that there will be a group of people who will not have knowledge in the deen. And because they won't have knowledge, because they won't have the desire to go and study, because they won't take out time from their busy lives to go and study, naturally the rest of this is going to happen. The rest of this is it's a snowball effect. We need to become a people who are interested in learning, going and studying. The virtue of knowledge in our religion is something that's great. The Prophet ﷺ, he one day walked into the masjid, and there were two groups of companions sitting separately. One group of them were sitting to one side, and they were learning the deen. They were talking and discussing matters of the religion. And another group of them were sitting at another corner of the masjid, and they were just engaged in some dhikr. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. The Prophet ﷺ, when he entered, he sat with this group. And he said to the companions, this group is the group of knowledge. And then he said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ مُعَلِّمًا. I was sent as a teacher. Right? In one narration, the Prophet ﷺ told the companions, الْعُلَمَاءُ وَرَثَةُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ فَإِنَّمَا الْأَنْبِيَاءُ لَمْ يُوَرِثُوا دِينَارًا وَلَا دِرْهَمًا. That when prophets pass away, just when a normal person passes away, their inheritance is their wealth. That's their legacy. People inherit from their wealth. But the Prophet ﷺ said, when we prophets pass away, people don't inherit our wealth. Even our family doesn't inherit our wealth. However, people inherit knowledge. And the one who takes the most knowledge from the prophets has taken the most of that inheritance. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, الْعُلَمَاءُ وَرَثَةُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. Those who have knowledge are the inheritors of the prophets. In one verse of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Those who have knowledge, can they ever be equal to those who do not have knowledge? They can never be equal. It's a rhetorical question. These two people can never be equal. In one narration, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَقِيهٌ وَاحِدٌ أَشَدُّ عَلَى الشَّيْطَانِ مِنْ أَلْفِ عَقِلٍ. That if you were to compare one jurist, someone who has knowledge, with a person who worships all day and night but does not have knowledge, when Shaitan approaches both of these people, he finds this person much more harder to delude or to fool, to misguide. The reason is because this person knows the Sharia. This person knows the difference between right and wrong. You can't play with this person. As for the person who is an innocent worshiper, he's a sincere person. Shaitan tells him, instead of praying 4 rak'ah, why don't you add 5? Right? Or Shaitan tells him, instead of doing this, add this to it, or decrease this from it. And that's where these bid'at and the innovations take birth, because people don't have knowledge. We have many people who are interested in worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they just don't know how. Or they just don't know the method. They don't know what the religion teaches them. And I'm telling you because when I teach classes to college-age youth, I ask them that the method you pray salah, where you tie your hands, or the way you read your Quran, or how you do your ruku', or the importance of keeping your back straight in the ruku', or what to read in the ruku', or what to read when you get up from ruku'. All of this right here. Can you even quote one hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that teaches you the method that you pray salah in? And people are very confident in saying that I was told that this was a cultural method that I learned it in, and that's the end of it. We understand the importance of following your elders. That's in its own place. But at the same time, there needs to be an education imitation. It needs to be an educated imitation. People need to know about the deen. The Prophet ﷺ, he encouraged this. The companions gave their life for this. There was a companion of the Prophet ﷺ by the name of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. And the reason why I love the example of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, because most of us are under this impression That seeking religious knowledge is something that happens when you're 6, 7 years old, and you go to the masjid in the maktab program, and the Mufti is sitting there on the other side of the desk with a sortie with a stick in his hand, and he's giving you beats while you're learning how to read alif bata. That's the image that we have of seeking knowledge. We view it as something that's done when you're young, when you're in your early teens, or when you're in your late teens, or when you're in your early 20s. But by the time you get married and you have kids and you have a job, or maybe 2 jobs, we don't view seeking knowledge to be as important anymore. We put that in the back burner. Something I might do someday. Something I might do when I retire. Something I might give attention to in my holiday. But if you don't give your attention to knowledge, if you don't show your interest in knowledge, knowledge won't give you a piece of itself. That's why Imam Yusuf rahmatullahi alayhi used to say, "Al-ilmu la yu'tika ba'dahu hatta tu'tihi kullah." That knowledge will not give you a portion of itself until you give knowledge your entirety. You have to come to knowledge. You have to humble yourself in front of knowledge. You have to want to desire knowledge. And then only then will knowledge come to you. And then when knowledge does come to you, you will see your own spirituality grow. As the Quran says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءُ. That scholars, those who have knowledge, are those who truly fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there are 2 problems that we have. The first is that we view that seeking knowledge is something that's done when you're young. When you get older, forget about it. And then the second thing is that when we use the term seeking knowledge, people generally think that that means that you go study for 8 years, 9 years, or go study for 6, 7 years straight. When we don't understand that seeking knowledge for each person has a different meaning. For someone, it may mean literally that you go and study for 10 years. While for another person, seeking knowledge is something minimal. A Bedouin comes to the Prophet ﷺ with the intention to seek knowledge. He said, "O Messenger of Allah, give me advice on how to be a Muslim, but keep it simple." The Prophet ﷺ tells him, "You want advice, keep it simple? Pray your salah, give your zakat, fast, and perform your hajj." He said, "O Messenger of Allah, if I do this, will I go to paradise?" The Prophet ﷺ said, "Yes, you will." He said, "La azidu wa la anqus." That's true, that I won't add anything and I won't deduct anything from this. Right? He learned little knowledge, but he practiced it. And the Prophet ﷺ, when this man was leaving, he said, "Aflaha in sabr," that this man will be successful, he will find his place in paradise. In another narration, the Prophet ﷺ told the companions, "If you wish to see someone who is already in Jannah but is walking on the earth, look at this man right here." Now, he didn't have massive amounts of knowledge. He probably wasn't the mufassir who would come back or be equal to Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala, or he wasn't the faqih who would have knowledge of fiqh like Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, or the muhaddith who had the detailed knowledge of the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam like Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu. That wasn't him. He was who he was. But he still gave time to come and study with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And his question was so beautiful. He's asking the Messenger of Allah, how can I be successful? And when the Prophet ﷺ gives him that information, he makes it his point to make sure that he practices that information. So don't be fooled by shaitan feeding these 2 thoughts into your mind. That I'm too old to seek knowledge. Right? Or let shaitan tell you that in order for me to go seek knowledge, I have to go study for 40, 50, 60 years. You seek knowledge according to what's available to you. And Abu Hurairah is an example of a person who defies the first principle. He seeks knowledge when he's older. You know, he is a companion who narrates the most ahadith from the Prophet ﷺ. The most ahadith from the Prophet ﷺ are narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. The one thing most people don't know is that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he accepted Islam 3 years before the Prophet passed away. But he narrates the most hadith. He only spent 3 years with the Prophet ﷺ. And someone asked him this question. A person came to him and said, "Abu Hurairah, how do you narrate so much from the Prophet when you've only spent 3 years with him?" You know what Abu Hurairah said? He said, "When I came to Medina Munawwarah, I was older in age. And I knew what I wanted to accomplish, and that was to meet the Prophet ﷺ and to learn from him." He said, "The Ansar, these were people of Muzara'a. They used to go and work in their fields." And he said, "The Muhajirin, these were people of Tijara. They were people of business, so they were in their markets." So the Ansar were in their fields working, and the Muhajirin were in the markets doing their business. And he said, "I was here in the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ day and night. And I was the one who faced starvation. I was the one who faced hunger. You know, I wasn't afraid that because I was going to seek my knowledge, that somehow I would face poverty and that would kill me. I wasn't afraid of that. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has never wasted anyone that has done something for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He himself says that I would be lying on the ground out of hunger, and I would be lying on the ground in pain, and people would say to me that Abu Hurairah has gone sick. And he said, I swear by Allah, sick meaning junoon, I was gone insane. And he said that I swear by Allah, I had no junoon, I had no insanity, but what I was struggling from was from hunger. And I'd be lying there holding my stomach, and the Prophet ﷺ one day came to me, and he said, Abu Hurairah, I have some milk. And Abu Hurairah, you can imagine, he's so hungry, he's starving. He thought to himself, wow, the Prophet has some milk, he has some milk, he's going to offer some to me. So he was waiting for the Prophet ﷺ to offer him some. And that's when the Prophet ﷺ said, go and call the companions that are around the masjid. So he wasn't too happy about it. He says it himself. He said, I wasn't too happy. Because when the Prophet said that he had milk, I needed the milk. But the Prophet told me, go and invite everyone. So I went outside and I invited everyone in the masjid. And then the Prophet ﷺ asked those companions, does anyone want milk? And everyone raised their hand. Because the Prophet was the one that was offering it, so they all raised their hand. So the Prophet ﷺ told Abu Hurairah, go and give everyone milk. So he said, I was thirsty, I was hungry, I needed that milk. But at the same time, not only was the Prophet giving it to other people, but he was telling me to go and give it to them. So he said, I started going in a circle. I was kind of under my breath hoping that every person would just take half a sip, a quarter of a sip, no one would drink the whole thing. There were a bunch of people there. He said, every person drank. And then finally, when I came to the end of the circle, there was a little milk left in there. The Prophet ﷺ, I offered the milk to him. He said to me, Abu Hurairah, you look a little hungry, why don't you have some milk yourself? And Abu Hurairah said, I closed my eyes and I said, Bismillah, and I started drinking. And I drank and I put it down. And I said, Rasulullah, your turn. The Prophet said, no, you keep drinking. He said it was a miracle from Allah that everyone in that gathering drank. And I, a hungry man who could have eaten a whole 7-course buffet, I drank until I was full. And then I gave the Prophet ﷺ until he drank and finished off that milk. And Abu Hurairah then told the companions, this is a sacrifice we made for this knowledge. So before you doubt us, know that this is what we came for. And you should know that in order for you to learn the deen, in order for us to, today we talk about the Prophet ﷺ and narrate from him. Had Abu Hurairah not made the sacrifice, it's very possible this element of knowledge would have not reached us. So we as people, we as adults, how do we relate this to us? We as busy people who I understand who have families and jobs and are very occupied with 10 different things, we need to take up time to come and seek knowledge. We have to stop running away from it. This isn't a time anymore where people used to travel across the world to go and seek knowledge. Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah. We live in communities where knowledge is easily available for us. It's readily available for us. What happens is that we avoid coming to these gatherings and seeking knowledge and learning our religion, and then when the stuff hits the fan and everything gets really messy, then people come running to the masjid and they say, dear Imam, my son is saying that he's not a Muslim anymore. And my daughter is saying that she doesn't want to wear X, Y, and Z anymore. And my son is saying this, and my daughter is saying that, and my marriage is falling apart. People then come complaining, which, by the way, is a good thing. At least still people are coming to their deen and they're still learning what needs to be done in times of difficulty. But a lot of this can be avoided by taking a proactive step and taking a positive measure before you face the difficulty. Coming to the masjid in advance, coming and studying, when there are halaqahs and gatherings happening, being a part of it. We as a people are so comfortable with complaining. We love complaining that there isn't enough happening, there isn't enough happening, there isn't enough happening. Well, most of the time, that's not true. There is a lot happening. The Muslim community the masajid and the imams and the communities are doing a lot. But it's just that we aren't engaging. We need to be involved, And if we don't get involved, the only people who lose out are we. We are the people who lose out. The people who are involved, they'll benefit and they'll move on. You'll notice that friends of yours, who you grew up with, friends who you attend the same parties with, that over a period of time, they begin to grow in their spirituality, and 10 years later, you are exactly where you were 10 years ago. You haven't changed much. People continue to move on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala offers people the opportunity. People from different backgrounds, different races. Because you were born into a particular family or born into a race doesn't make you entitled to spirituality. You have to go and run on that pathway yourself. You have to go and become what you want to become. Salman al-Farsi was Persian, but he became something because he entitled himself He went to the Prophet ﷺ and he did something. Knowledge is a light, my dear friends. And if you want this light, you have to humble yourself for knowledge. You have to go to it. I'll close with a statement of Imam Shafi'i. He shares his experience. He came to his teacher, Waqi ibn Jarrah. And by the way, for those of you who don't know Imam Shafi'i, great scholar whose name was Muhammad ibn Idris, originally from Palestine, spent a great part of his life and also in Egypt. You know, someone who dedicated immensely to the sciences of hadith and also to fiqh. The founder, they say, of Usul al-Fiqh. So the chapter of the principles of fiqh, he's the first person to actually write on this chapter, write in this science. Great scholar, great scholar. Imam Shafi'i, when he was a kid, he went to his teacher, Waqi ibn Jarrah, and he said to him, Waqi, I want to study knowledge. I want to go and study. I come to the gatherings to study, but I have weak memory. By the way, his definition of weak memory is very different from ours. Like, he was a genius. He was already memorizing hundreds of thousands of narrations, and then he's complaining of his weak memory. They say Imam Shafi'i was teaching hadith at the age of 12. At the age of 12, he was teaching hadith. One scholar was one day passing by while Imam Shafi'i was teaching hadith. And in his gathering, there were some students there. He was narrating hadith off by heart. And there was a bird that came. So Imam Shafi'i, he was a kid, 12 years old. He took his hat off and threw it over the bird to capture it. And that scholar that was passing by, he said to Imam Shafi'i, what kind of teacher of hadith are you that you're playing with a bird with your hat while you're teaching hadith? So Imam Shafi'i said to him, he quoted a narration, "As-sabiyyu sabiyyun walau kana ibnu nabiyyun." That a kid is a kid even if he's a son of a prophet. Kids are going to do kid things, get over it. Tricks are for kids, right? This is what we do, we're kids. And Imam Shafi'i, he's a genius, by the way. He comes to his teacher, Waqi ibn Jarrah, and he says to him, I have weak memory. شكوت إلى وقيع أن سوء حفظ. I have bad memory. فأرشدني بترك المعاصي. He said to me, Shafi'i, you want better memory? Stop sinning. You sin too much. I mean, what could Imam Shafi'i, a 12-year-old kid, even sin like? I don't even know what kind of sins kids who were in Palestine at that time, who were 12 years old, do. I mean, they didn't have smartphones. The worst thing they could do is probably TP someone's house. Actually, they didn't even have toilet paper. I don't know what they would do. But whatever it is that they did, he's telling him, فَأَرْشَدَنِي بِتَرْكِ الْمَعَاصِي. Or in one narration, فَأَوْصَانِي بِتَرْكِ الْمَعَاصِي. He said to him, stop sinning. فَإِنَّ الْعِلْمَ نُورٌ مِّنْ إِلَهِ وَنُورُ اللَّهِ لَا يُطْفَأُ الْمَعَاصِي. Because this knowledge that you're trying to seek is a light from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the light of Allah is not given to a sinner. In our deen, we don't view knowledge as just raw information. In our deen, knowledge is a spiritual journey to go closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this Jummah today, I stand before you inviting you all today to trust yourself, trust Allah, and walk on this journey. Start this journey of seeking knowledge. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all from those who practice and learn. Wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين إن الله تعالى أمركم بأمر بدأ فيه بنفسه وثنى بملائكة قدسه وثلث بكم أيها المؤمنون من برية جنه وإنسه وقال تعالى مخبرا وآمرا إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كلما ذكره الذاكرون وكلما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر وأشدهم في أمر الله عمر وأصدقهم حياء عثمان وأقضاهم علي رضوان الله تعالى عليهم أجمعين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما يا رب العالمين اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا برحمتك شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عليك تبارك ربنا وتعالى ولك الحمد على ما قضيت ولك الشكر على ما أنعمت به ووليت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وصلى الله على النبي الأمي سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.